Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Elements of Success. I'm your host, Talhah Jarrad. Well, we are talking about success and how to achieve success. And we mentioned before that success is predictable and we can achieve whatever we want if we set our minds on it. Now, to achieve success, we need to know certain things that will help us achieve the success. Now, I'm going to talk to you about one of the most exciting things that we need to know in our lives and in our quest to success. We're going to talk about universal laws. Now, we all know that this universe works in utmost order and accuracy. Every part in this universe, in the entire universe, big or small, moves in accordance to preset laws. Thank God it does. Otherwise, we're going to have things upside down. Everything in this universe works according to preset laws. And these laws govern the universe from the smallest, tiniest thing in this universe to the largest and biggest objects in this world, or even the universe for that matter. And knowing this is so important, so magnificent, and has a huge impact on us because it can change our lives if we know and understand these things. Now, let me give you some characteristics of universal laws. Well, first of all, universal laws work 100% of the time. They work all the time. They work every single time. There is no exception. There is no exception. Number two, that they work everywhere. Universal laws work everywhere, which means that wherever you are, this universal law will work. Number three, they work irrespective of whether you believe in them or not. And number four, they work whether you like them or you don't like them. Now, let me give you an example. Now, we all know the law of gravity. If I take this object and if I leave it, it will go down. It will break. Why? Because there is law of gravity that governs this universe, and we all live in this gravity and the law of gravity. Now, to verify what we said, if you were in anywhere in the world, this law will apply. You could be here in certain country and the law of gravity will work. You can go to another part of the world. Let's say if you are in New York, the law of gravity will work. If you are in Cairo, the law of gravity will work. If you are in Mecca, the law of gravity will work. Which means that if somebody goes up in a high rise and jumps, he will break his neck. It doesn't matter whether he is anywhere, it will work. And plus, it works 100% of the time. Every time this thing happens over and over. That's what gives our life order. That's why it makes our life so consistent, predictable. And also it works whether you believe in it or not. Well, humanity for the longest period of time, they didn't know the law of gravity, but they were still governed by this law of gravity. And it works whether you like it or not. You might hate the law of gravity. You might hate it, but it doesn't matter. It will work all the time. So this is a very important thing to know about the universal laws. Now, here is an exciting thing. There are mental laws that govern the human being's life. As we said, everything in this universe happens according to preset laws. And these preset laws could be physical or mental. Now, these mental laws are so important to understand because the same characteristics that apply to the physical laws, they apply to the mental laws, which means they work 100% of the time. They work anywhere. They work whether you like them or not, and whether you believe in them or not. You might not believe in certain laws, but irrespective of this belief or not, they work. And if you don't know these laws, you will live your life as if you are aware of these facts, and that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, these laws will apply, and these laws will happen whether you like it or not. So we're going to talk about some of the mental laws, and we're going to mention some of these laws and see how they apply in our life and how can they help us in our quest and our endeavor towards success. Now, the first mental law that we're going to talk about is probably one of the most powerful ones, though, is the law of control. Now, this law says that everything happens in life, you are in full control of it. You are in full control of your life. You are in full control of your destiny. You are in full control of the things that happen to you. And for that matter, you are in full control of what happens to you now and in the future. From an Islamic point of view, this is also valid. You are in full control whether you want to go to heaven or hell. You are in full control whether you want to believe or not. You, as a matter of fact, as Allah said, you are in full control to develop and improve yourself and make it grow or make it go down. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, verily and truly, He said, that the successful person is the one who grows himself. If you grow yourself, if you purify yourself, you will succeed. You will become more successful. And knowing this thing means that you are in control. You can be more successful if you want it, and you can just sit aside and do nothing about it. You can just leave life takes you in its currents, and you don't know anything about it. Now, there are some applications for this law. Some of these applications is that you become positive in your life, and you become more and more positive the more you feel you are in charge and control of your life. The more you feel you are in charge, the more you feel you are in control of your life, the more you become positive. Why now? Because you have a sense of control. You know that your life is in your hand. You can control your life. It is not that somebody is playing with your life. It's not that somebody is controlling your life. You control your life. You take care of your life. You know what you want, and you know exactly that you are in full control of your life. And the more you apply this, the more that you understand this law of control, that you are in full control of your life, your destiny, your family, what happens to you, your future, anything that happens to you is under your control personally, and nobody else has this control but you. And that determines your feelings, that determines your positivity, that determines how you look at life. Now, and it depends how you interpret things to yourself and how you explain things to yourself, this becomes more and more valid and true. For example, we said you are in control of your life. An application of this is that you are in control of your thoughts. You decide what you think of. At any given point of time, you decide what you think of. Now, if you think positively, you will feel positive. And then you feel more in control of yourself. If you think negatively, you will become negative. Let's say something happens to you. You were encountered in an accident. Now, if you think of this accident as a bad thing, and you think of it negatively, it becomes deep down in your heart and your mind a negative thing, and then your thoughts will be negative, and then you become a negative person. But if you think of it as a good thing that happened to you, then, and you interpret it this way, you explain it to yourself this way, then you become positive, you become more in control of yourself, and you become more in charge of knowing what happens in your mind, what happens in your heart, and so on and so forth. Now this is the first law, which is the law of control. As we said, you are in full control of your life. You control whatever happens to you, and you are in full control of anything that happens in your life. Now, the other law of this universal laws, or one of the second law of universal laws, is the law of cause and effect. And it says that everything happens for a reason. Everything that happens in this world happens for a reason. And now, if you might know of the reason, you might not know of the reason, you might be aware of the reason, you might not be aware of the reason, but the fact is that there is a reason for things happening, and there is a reason for things not happening. The application of this is that to become successful, there are reasons to become successful, and there are reasons to become a loser or a failed person. And it depends how you look at it. It applies to you. Now, if you do an action and you work on yourself in this action, then that creates a result. If you don't do anything, that also has its sequences and consequences. Now, this is a very important thing. Everything that happens happens for a reason, and there is a cause for it. If you want to go to paradise, then there are steps that you have to go through. And if you don't, and if you don't take any action, then you will slow, you will not achieve, and you will probably, God forbid, end up going that road. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this to us to explain to us this law. He said, whomever gives and fears Allah and believes in the goodness, Allah will ease his way towards goodness. And whoever become stingy and does not give and does not believe in goodness or disbelieves in goodness, Allah will ease his way to difficulty and to turmoil and troubles and problems. So this is very important. This means that if you do something, you get the result out of it. And if you don't do, you also get the result. So there is a reason for everything, and you are in control of anything that happens. Now, one of the most important and critical applications of this law is that what happens in your life is the effect. The cause of this effect is your thoughts. Now, let me say that again. Thoughts are the causes. Your condition that you become in is the effect. Now, if you think of something, it's created in your head first, and that's the cause, and then it happens in your life. That's the effect. And if you understand this law and start applying this principle to your life to gain and attain the steps to achieve more and more in life, you will achieve more and more. Nothing happens out of the blue. It's not a matter of luck. There is no luck in this life. As a matter of fact, all opportunities, all things that happen to the person happens because he is ready for this, because he sees it. Because maybe the same opportunities, the same chances are given to somebody else, but he cannot see it. He cannot do anything about it. We are in control, and there are reasons for things to change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in Quran. He said, Allah will not change the status of people unless they change the status of themselves. Allah will not change the status of people unless they change the status within themselves. So this is the law of cause and effect. We have to think of this all of the time, and we have to understand these universal laws, and we have to apply them. Remember, Allah will not change the status of people unless they change the status of themselves. I leave you with this thought, and we'll see you again inshallah next time. Thank you for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.